Alright, we are live. I'm gonna just post this on the Discord and Twitter in a few seconds here, and then we'll be ready to rock. So give me a second as I still struggle with how to do this. Let's go. There we go. Alright, sent. One more. Bear with me for a second. Give me 1 second. Alright. Okay, I think I got everything set up, good to go, and let's jump into it. Hopefully the music isn't too loud in the background, but this hopefully is going to work out. Okay, so we are back working on 3D landscapes in Blender. This is the latest project I've been working on, which is based on Mount Fuji in Japan. You can go back and look at the last stream to kind of see how we got to this point, but where we are basically at this moment is we've got the entire landscape into Blender. Everything is currently to scale. You can kind of get an idea here. I'm going to have to change the view here. Yeah, it's going to be a long way away. Okay, so this is basically the Mount Fuji scene. Even with this type of 10,000 meters, so about 10 kilometers, the scene is still, clipping at this part. So you can see how big the scene is. This is the geometry for the entire scene, so you can kind of see the area around this lake here. I switch it over to this view, you get a better idea. So we got Mount Fuji in the background over here. We got Lake, I forget this name, Fujiyama, I think it's Fujiyama or something close to this. I'll bring it up on the map here in a second, but this is the actual scene in the spot that I was looking to capture. So this is data from OSM, and basically what we've got here is the buildings that are running along the road. And then if you look at this building here, this is actually the Airbnb that I was staying at. So there's a goal today is to actually work on this scene from this location. So if we take a peek here, you see I've already got the camera set up. This is the view of Mount Fuji in the background. I've got two references in here. This is about a 6 foot, or yeah, just about 6 foot person representing the scale, and then another one down here. And you can see we don't have any of the lighting set up. We don't have any of the atmosphere set up. We don't have anything kind of set up the way we want to yet, but just to get you an idea of where we are, I'll just go into a full rendered mode. Let's give it a second to load. And you can see already, just because of the scale, let me just fix this. If we check the scale of this, maybe we are even cutting off. Maybe that's it there. Okay, but anyway, what we'll do is I'll bring this up here into this corner. I'll leave the rendered view open. There's a bunch of things I've got to fix with the atmosphere and stuff, but we'll do that in a second. What I'm going to do is actually bring everything down in scale so that we can actually work with this, because Blender gets notoriously bad when everything's at a huge scale. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to work on, it's interesting where I'm getting this clipping back here. Might be the atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and fix this. Yeah, we got serious 2. Might be that. Let's get everything down to scale first, and then let's see how this works. So grab everything, buildings, all the terrain, the 2 humans, the path, and this patio, which we're going to turn on. And we're going to bring this down quite a bit. So now, let's see what we've got. Yeah, so now we're about a kilometer across. I think it's a little bit easier to work with this. Okay, so let me hide the patio, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the setup. All right, so what I'm going to work on today is to actually recreate this patio that I was in here in this Airbnb. So if I kind of go zoom in to this location again, I think I've actually got it saved here. Yeah, let's bring this in. Are we not getting this? There we go. Okay, so what we're actually looking at here is a 3D scan that I took while I was at this Airbnb in Mount Fuji, and I'll show you how bad this is. So this is the actual 3D scan, and is one of the worst scans that I don't know what actually went wrong on this. It's not going to matter because I don't actually need to use this the way it is, but just to get an idea of how odd this scan was. So obviously I'm on the inside of this patio. Let's switch it to this view, might be a little bit easier. And this is probably one of the worst scans I've ever seen, but it's kind of funny. We'll show you how much it'll make a difference when I actually work on this. So, on this side, it was having all sorts of trouble. So, because there was an open window here, the lidar was picking up things outside of the area. You can see it had all sorts of trouble. It actually tried to recreate the background scene here, and you can see this is the actual patio right here. So it tried to recreate the background scene. It was bouncing all sorts of reflections off this glass, so this was a disaster. It pretty much did a terrible job. But the cool part about this is that even though this scan is really unusable, if we actually bring this back, so this is actually perfectly to scale. If you just joined, I just scaled down the entire scene. But this is the real building data for this area of Mount Fuji, and then this is the actual 3D scan to scale. So it fit on this building, I mean, almost perfectly. A little bit of overlap, but yeah, overall it was pretty good. So we've really got, the exact scale here and, the layout. So the heights, once I kind of get the floor lined up with the actual floor of the building, which would be something like this. Let's just get it. The actual first and second floor of this building wouldn't be super accurate. So let's just bring it to, yeah, maybe to about here. So at this point, I mean, this is basically the scale of what we've got to build up here. And this is going to be our scene that we're going to look out here. And if I turn this off, you can see I've already got it blocked out. So the goal today is going to be to basically use this as a reference point, recreate this patio as best as I can. I'm not great at modeling, but it's kind of part of the process. So we'll sort of learn as we go. And then, hopefully by the end of this, we'll have something that looks a little bit more like a patio. Again, the references that we're looking for is probably going to be something like this. So this viewpoint here is right now the final render, what I'm basically going for. This is the current plan. So if you look at this scene, we've got the bike path running along here. We got to probably straighten out this shoreline a bit. We've got a bit of room for the road, and then we've got actually, the top part of the patio here, where we put the lights in and do the whole thing. But the actual patio itself looks like this. So we'll probably model this and then move the camera up to get kind of a different view of the background. Again, the goal is to get one great, viewpoint for the 3D render, but also I'm recreating these locations in Unreal Engine. So it's important for me to have, kind of a bit of a more area than just what the camera sees, so that I can use this again in the future. So I forgot all about the chat. Hey, Fesk, what's going on, man? I forgot. I'm so bad at this Twitch thing. What do we got here? Flip. First time chat. Hey, Luke. I don't know if you're still here. I'm so incredibly bad at this, but something new to try. So if I look like I'm completely out to lunch, it's all me. Thanks, guys. Fast guy, appreciate it, man. We'll keep going. I'm gonna figure this out as I go. So far so good. And other than the fact that I look completely purple, I don't know what the heck that's from. It's not so bad. Let me turn this light on here and see if this helps at all. Maybe less purple, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into this. I'm just going to talk a little bit as I work, but feel free to follow along and ask any questions, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is basically I'm going to block this out on the patio. So I'm going to go with all right. So basically just getting the shape here now of the patio. Bring this back. Again, just trying to get it close. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. Okay, and then we got pull, pull, pull. We'll drop that down. Should probably line this up. I don't know if I'm supposed to type over here fast or just answer you if you're listening. So this was Polycam, this one. I've done both. I've done just reality capture, so just pure photos for 3D objects. But for this one, it was just my phone and just Polycam. And yeah, you can tell. I mean, not that necessarily taking a ton of photos and putting into reality capture would have been better, but yeah, this is the one for now. So I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be good. Yeah, I think this is pretty solid. Okay, let's get rid of this for now. Okay, so what do I want to do here? Okay, let's see. So probably a couple ways that I can do this. Oh, we lost this thing here. Hold on. Yeah, it's probably still pretty solid. Not seeing this. Here, for those of you watching at home, that was me looking for the wireframe modifier for about 3 minutes, trying to figure out where it went. All right. Okay, let me just take a peek at this. I wonder. Hey, thanks, Fesk. Appreciate you, man. Okay. Okay, let's see. This will probably come back to haunt me later on, but I think this is what I want for now. And then, I think what we're going to do is... Okay. I think what I want to do is these individual wood pieces, because it's going to be in the foreground. There's going to be detail here, and I think I want to get this right. So I think the way that I want to do this is I'm going to do this with just individual cubes and an array. So let's see. This is probably going to come back to haunt me, but let's just see what happens. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make approximately the correct size. I also should have lined this up. That's one thing that I've never quite got right is getting, we'll see. I might have to solve this here as we go. Yeah, this one thing I've never quite got right in Blender is, you've got this world scene like this. So, if I was to turn everything on, for example, we've got this huge world scene, and I think that I have the camera lined up. I can't remember if I actually lined up the entire world. Yeah. So you can see like this is the Y and the X coordinates, and then the scene is actually sitting here. I actually don't know why I have it offset, but what it does is that now I've got basically if I want to work inside this little building, an idea of the scale, the X and Y coordinates are not actually lined up. Now I'm sure there's a way to do this, and I know you can do all sorts of stuff with like local coordinates. Let me see if this actually solves the issue. So that give me that. Yeah, that actually might actually solve the issue or not. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I mean you'll see this in a second. So let's just keep going. So if we think of like a little bit of, now again, this is not to scale anymore, so the dimensions, everything's been brought down. But basically the idea is here, I'm going to try to put on this is what I was trying to figure out earlier. I think that this is on the outside. So this is the metal, and then on the outside of this rail, I have video of this too, so I can always go look at the video. So let's just kind of get an idea. So let's say if we're going to do these, we could just do these as one individual wood plank all the way across. I don't know if it actually is, might be each one. Well, actually, we can do it that way. Let's do this as an array and actually make it as if it was individual pieces. So let's just assume that, something like this, and we've got on this thing, the rail going down here. So we've got 3 going down. So just to kind of get an idea of how this would work. So we're going to add an array, and then we're going to do is we're going to, well, okay, first of all, we're going to scale it out to the length of this first one. Again, sorry, we're still getting for now. Sometimes this will cause issues in Blender, having too far of a view out and a view in. So let's just see how this works. Okay, let's do this. So let's just say we're going to line the wood up like that. It's going to overhang a little bit on the rail. This piece is going to line up on this side. We want to bring the scale up again. Something like this. And then the idea is that this piece of wood is going to be kind of right dead center. A little bit of overlap on this side. And then, basically dead center of this rail. Pretty good. Okay. So now in terms of our array, what we can basically do is just change the offset to be, just enough, like a little bit like a piece of wood would be point. Sorry, if I do 1, I think we'll go there, and then anything above 1 will be the gap. So 1.01. So 1.001. So there you go. So we can go 1.0025, and then we've got this like little bit of a gap on the wood, and that's lined up, pretty close to the edge of that rail. And then obviously what we want to do is duplicate this to be a count of 5. And then you can see how quickly these arrays go off. Like if you're just a little bit off here, like that, compounding, you end up with this gap over here. So what I want to do is probably bring down the scale of this piece. Bring the whole thing out a little bit. Oh, this is good. Okay. So, all sorts of fun here. Not bad. Okay. And then we can do another array, and we can run this array down. So this one's going to be 0 here, and it's going to be 1 minus 1.025. Okay, so now you can kind of get an idea of how we've got to get this. So we've got to get the third one. Well, you can see I've already messed up this rail. So let's see. So, depending on how much we care about detail. So from this photo, it looks like it's really hard to tell if I got a better one. No, I'd have to go to a video. Let me just watch the video really quick. I don't think I can bring this up on the stream. Okay, I can show you a screenshot of this. I'm sure there's probably a way to show this, but okay. I'll grab a screenshot from the video. Okay, so screenshot, new. Okay, so here we go. Save. Let's just put this on the desktop. Okay, so back in here. So I've got my scene in right now. I'll just load this image just so you can get an idea. Desktop. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the railing. So now when I did this, there's a couple things, right? So this one here is could be potentially below the patio, this bottom rail. This one here, so if we brought this one, so we got the top one, then this one, then this one, and then the patio. So there's a couple things. Probably the way we could do this, and I think probably the best way to do it overall, because I can kind of fix the scale after, is treat this as the top rail, this one is the second rail, this is the third one, and then we're going to build the deck up to about here so that this drops down. So in that case, if we're doing it that way, what I need to do is I want this wood, which is on the outside, is to go halfway approximately down this first rail. So the third one, and we're probably pretty close. So let's see. So if we do it this way and you kind of look at from this view, it's not bad. So we've got, little gaps in the wood, which, we can offset this one even more, to say like this is a 1, or say this is a point. Here, let's do it this way. So minus 1.1 just to show you. So see that gap? And now we've got a little bit more gap in the wood compared to this. And I can go back to my scene, show you the photo again. Yeah, so, again, probably a little bit too far down. So it's pretty easy to fix. So we can just do is scale this original down a bit and then move the whole thing up. So now we're basically, now we've got this rail, the top half. So a little bit too much. And I'll probably end up, if I remember this, there's definitely a top to this. So if I go back to the screenshot, which I don't actually know what this was called now, this one. This is from the video. I don't know why I keep losing this. Sure, there's a way. Maybe there it is. Okay. Yeah. So I'll watch the video. I can't show the screenshots, but I've got a little walkthrough video of walking out to the patio, and when I look at it, there was a little bit of a metal overlap, not wood. So I'll add that in after. So basically, the wood probably could fall, just probably right on to this. Okay, so let's say, so if we go about even to that, take a look at where the rail is. The rail is still a little bit high. I'm going to go a little bit more down. Okay, I would say that's pretty accurate. So now I've got 3. Now we can add down to here. And if I take a look at the video, it goes on beyond the actual wall or the actual floor. So I'd say that's pretty good. And you can kind of get an idea now of the scene getting built up with the actual view. So I would say this looks pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is, let me think about this for a second. I think what I want to do is duplicate this, rotate it 90 or 180 or 90, 270. Maybe not. I'll just do it manually. Okay, we're going to rotate it. What we're going to do is basically put this here. Again, there's probably much better ways to do this, but let's go for it. Okay, so what we're trying to do is bring this out and basically just line it up as close as we can to this railing. And now the difference is with this one is what we can do is, because this is a duplicate, let's just actually get all these into, so this is, let's just go this to patio. And then we'll say this is rail front. This is rail side right. We'll say from there, and then this is the patio main. This is the patio rail. So this is actually the patio rail, so patio rail wood side R. Patio rail, same metal. Rail front. This is patio rail wood front. Okay, there we go. So now what I can do with this one is basically the array is going to be the same. This is, you can name these array vertical and array horizontal. But basically this one is the same because it's the same amount of wood going this way, but this count is actually going to go down. So I'm going to say that this is 2. And then all I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to bring the scale this way up until it's about even. And then, this is kind of the test is, does it line up on all sides? Here, here, and here. A little bit more. And then, we can go to this view. And just rotating it, get it closer. Okay. And this is going to be pretty close. I mean, not perfect, but pretty good. Okay. And then now we're going to do is just duplicate this one. And we're going to bring it over here and we're going to rotate it. This should work if I do it 180. No, rotate Z 180. I think that did it. There's all sorts of things here. So because this is a array, the actual orientation is wrong, but that's okay. Let's get it in there. Who cares? Okay. I feel pretty good about this. So I've got now basically the rail on both sides. We can do this with metal. We can do this with wood. And then now let's get this basic patio set up. So there's a couple ways to do this one. I think that the detail on this is important because we're going to be seeing through it with the camera. So anything behind it is going to come in, the lake or whatever we've got. The actual detail on the patio itself is not as important. So what we probably can end up doing here is just keeping this as a totally flat. Let's see. So if we go back to this thing, if we keep this as basically just a flat surface and apply, a texture to it, I think it's going to work just fine. So I actually don't think we need to do anything with this. I might change my mind. Okay. So again, here, the camera is not going to see at all this back part. So it's sort of up to me at this point whether how well I want to model this. I think that this back area obviously is something that there'll be glass along here. It shouldn't be actually too bad to do. Could just probably do this pretty quickly. If I go back to, yeah, let's do this like a rough version of this. So again, here's our really poor scan with the patio. So a couple things we got to do is, first of all, you can actually see the texture here a little bit. This is the roof, and if you look at some of the photos of the roof, it was almost, and I have better ones in video, it's almost like a canvas that was kind of drooping down. So I want to kind of get that effect, but I might save that to the end because I know there's a couple ways to do that with different cloth modifiers and things that I haven't used. But I think what I want to do is, if I remember this right, and I probably should have another video of this. Actually, probably this will do the trick. So if we just turn off the patio for now, go back to the scan, we get a pretty good idea. So basically what we had was a framed window here with, I think, the 4 panels. Then this was a, I don't know if it was I don't know what was behind here, but I think it was just, it actually might be a storm barrier that comes across, but it was just basically metal across here, and then this one was a double window. So now there are, I've done some stuff with architecture, not a lot. There are some architecture packs that you can get that can just drop a window in here. So I don't know if I necessarily want to model this full thing, but I can just do a very basic outline, and then I may come back and actually improve this after. So anyway, here's our patio. See there, you can get some good detail from, there's probably could use some of this wood texture, but, and then you can get to see what we were talking about before. There's the floor. So I think the floor will just be a texture. I think the individual wood pieces should be their own, and then let's just block out this basic window. So what I'm going to do is, there's probably better ways to do this, but let's get rid of the patio. Let's put this back on. Okay. So what I can do is, yeah, I think I'll just switch between the two. Actually, okay. Okay, so we're working with this. And probably just to make my life easier, let's separate this. And we're going to call this patio. Patio back. Okay. Oh, did that wrong. So this is, which one is this? This is probably has nothing now. Oh, this is the roof. Okay, so this is patio roof. And this is patio back. Okay. So if we isolate that, I keep getting this wrong. There we go. Okay, so this is the back wall. Okay, so what I'm going to do is basically bring this back up again. I'm just going to block out that window, that part for now. Okay. All right, let's go here. Oh, fuck. Okay. So what I want is middle. I think this is going to do the trick for now. So basically all I've done, if we bring this back, is all I've really done, which is it's probably not perfect, is I basically just popped out, these were actually 4, this was 2. Should we isolate on this so we can see it? So we'll go with patio. Yeah, so basically we've got 4 here, 2 here. So what I meant to do was yeah, there should be 1 more here. All right, fun. What is the best way to do this now that I've done that? Whoa. Okay, let's do it this way. So what we want is okay. These are these little things that I do and that I don't really know the right way to do it, and then what ends up happening is that like 3 days from now I'm going to want to cry because I did this in such a bad way. But considering this is not even in the scene, I think that should do the trick. And let's just say, for argument's sake, you know, let's just say this is over here a bit more. This is where, you know, I probably have a good reference photo of the patio, but unfortunately, actually, I could use this here. Again, just to get you an idea of the scale, this is the actual terrain for Mount Fuji. And then all the way down here on this lake, in this little hut, somewhere in here, is this. And what we're trying to do is just determine how far that glass was from here. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap, but not a lot. Okay. Let's leave that here. Let's bring this back. Yeah, so the right way to do this would be probably to add another one here. This is a loop cut. Slide it over like this. And now, you know, leave a bit of a gap there. And then say, you know, I'm sure there's a way to evenly space all these, but, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Basically, all I'm doing is just making sure that there's 4 windows in here, okay? So now, what I can do is, same thing over on this side. Technically, I should add another cut here, bring this over, and now we've got, you know, essentially window here, window here, window here. So I can go in and just, for now, just assign this a new material. Call this patio window. We're going to assign it, and then, yeah, so select. Did I do that wrong? I think I did. Okay. So let's just go. What is this going to be? We'll just say this is metal for now. Okay, so basically, let's bring this up. So this is going to be the primary. This is going to be the primary material. So I'll just assign this to everything. And then what I want to do is just say, hey, just for these windows, 1, 2, 3, that's that. So now, you know, can show the material, but basically if we deselect this, we say select, there you go, deselect, window, select. So we've at least got the window material in here for when we add this in. Okay, get rid of this. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. So we've got the railing, we've got the wood, we've got the basic shape of the patio with 2 sliding doors. Again, we can bring in, you know, like an architecture or something pack to actually add the windows in if we want after. But I basically think this is the main part of it. 2 other things we got to do. If you take a look at these photos, we've got post here, we've got post here. Now, you know, this is where there's a couple, you know, couple ways to do this. So if we look at the post, it actually looks like it's running on the inside of this. So, you know, I've got this part of the actual, I don't know what part this is. It's probably part of the roof now. Yeah. So basically this is patio, you know, we can separate this out, but this right here is the patio roof and the patio floor, which I'll separate probably out after as two things. So, you know, I can make this particular line into this, and I'm just trying to think. All right, well, at least I found out where the mute button was. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to basically put that metal support beam. You know, and again, I think there's 2 ways you can do this, right? One is just to try. I was thinking about doing like there's a modifier just to give you an idea, um, where you can actually take like, you know, a single edge like that, and you can actually turn it into. Um, here, let's see, to show you the skin modifier. Oh, it's not going to work. See if Control A, no, Alt A. Can't remember what the shortcut is on this now. Shift A. No. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's just do a simple way to do it. So basically, what I'm going to do is take this and let's detach everything. So basically, the bottom now here is going to get detached, and this is going to be the patio floor, and then this gets detached. Okay, and this is going to be the patio roof. Okay, wait, which one did I just do there? Patio floor, patio roof. Okay, patio support. Okay, so now we've basically got these 2 things at this spot, and we've got to put posts down here, but we've also got to put posts over here. So we could do this way. Try that. Let's just show you that again. Yeah, I don't think this is the right way to do it. I don't know why I would do it. So we could go solidify. I would do that. That's not what I think I want. I think I'm just going to do it. Let me think of the best way to do this. Could mirror it to that side, or I could just do the array again and drop one to that side and one to this side. I think that's probably the way to go. I think there was only one there, one there. Okay. So this is how I'm going to do it. This may not be the right way, but let's just isolate on. Let's actually get rid of this one. Okay, so all we have is this like single line, and we can actually just isolate everything. Okay. Okay. What is the problem here? Is it the clipping? Why is this so wonky? Okay, I'll do it like this. Okay, so we're going to edit this. But I think the way I'm going to just do this is all I'm really doing is I'm extruding it out. So see, I'm doing one here, and then one here, and one here, and then I'm going to close it. So bring it this way, make sure this is on. All we're going to do is say that's probably good. Okay. Again, lots of ways to do this, but that keeps that right in line. If we look at the actual thing itself, the dimensions are, so just to make it accurate, we can go, let's go 0.07. So 0.07, copy that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. You know what, I don't think it matters. Okay, so basically we're here on this, and then we can bring this down if we wanted all the way to the floor. I think that's how it goes in the scene. So now what we've got is the post basically sitting on the inside. We can even move it if we need to. And then I don't really have to do this with the array modifier, but the reason I will is because now that I've got kind of the idea, if I add this array modifier and I just say that we just want two of these things here, and I'm just going to bring it all the way across, it just means that if I modify the shape of it after, add a bevel, anything like that, it's going to work. So there it is. Okay, so it's basically on the other side, and then we're going to do is add another array. This one's going to be 0, and this is going to be on the Y. And then you can kind of see from this photo, we might have, again, I'll go back to look at the video, we might have something here, but just for now, I would say something like this looks pretty solid. And now we've got the full 4 posts, and there is no post down the middle. So we got 4 posts. They look pretty good. They might not be perfect, but I think this is probably what we need. We could turn this off and just double check. So yeah, here we go. So on this one, we just bring the offset off until it's not touching. And then what we want to do is actually probably on this one itself, well, we can do the whole thing, is we just want to move the whole thing Y in. And then if we take a peek, if we do this right, the Y sitting there. Take a look at this one. Okay, so this one is off. So what we do is we bring this one over like that, and then offset this one to counter it. That should make this one okay, although I'm just realizing that, yeah, probably because the rail's not perfect. Okay, so what we can do is either, are they both off by the same amount? Oh, okay. there's a way to fix this. I don't know if it's the rotation of this right now that's causing it. Let's see. If I do that, does this one get messed up? A little bit. A little bit. It's pretty close. Okay. I can fix this after. So anyway, we've got the basic idea here. So this is what this looks like kind of in a rendered view. Again, this was human size. This is, so it's probably the scale's a little bit off here. Although I don't know if it is because I'm about 6 feet tall and that's probably where I would be standing. Maybe it's a little bit too big, but it's not bad. Okay. I would say we've got a pretty decent patio, and just to kind of get an idea is let's go take a peek. Okay, so there we go. So now, if we take a look at our reference, this is, let's do a couple of these, right? So this would be a reference for what the patio should look like in terms of layout, but in terms of the actual final photo, it's going to be more like this. And you can tell that, in this particular photo, there's not even the railing. And in this one, again, it's over the railing. So I think that it's going to be somewhere in between these. I think the composition that I want is probably going to have some of the rail in it, but I actually want to make sure that I've got the road in because we're going to do, well, we'll see, right? I think the goal would be that I would model this road and this pathway with the fence and the shoreline. This is kind of what I'm more looking for, something like this. But, it may turn out that if I decide that the patio looks really good and I can make this, with the little table and the whole thing, I have the option to render this with kind of this background view instead. So what I'm going to do to kind of set this up is I'm going to take this camera and I'm actually going to duplicate this twice. Okay, so now we've got one here and another one. Okay, so this will be the original view that I had, and then we're going to call this cam 2, we'll say patio 1, no, we'll say patio close, and then we're going to say cam 3, patio wide. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So we'll go with this one first. So same camera right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just couple options, right? I can make this even wider. So there's a 16 millimeter, which is coincidentally probably even 14 is probably what I shot that at. So there you go. You can kind of get an idea. It's not bad in terms of what that view would have looked like. That's pretty spot on. That's pretty close. Maybe the perspective and stuff is a little off with this, but we can get an idea. So even if we go with a camera, we start to play around with the height. Where we were. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not bad. We could even say, I mean, probably that angle is about there. So even when it cuts off the reflection, obviously the water was pretty choppy that day. But let's go with this. So let's say for pretty close, It's another interesting thing about Blender. So you can see like the perspective on this is really distorted. And I think I'm trying to remember if I actually corrected this perspective or not in the camera. So there's actually ways to change, the way that, yeah, see? So this is like a bit of a lens shift. Yeah, so I've got an add-on here, a photographer add-on that's actually affecting the geometry of the shot. So if you've ever taken a photo in Photoshop, you know that, or a photo into Lightroom or Photoshop, you know that sort of correcting the perspective is sometimes part of the process. But look, just to give you an idea, a camera might distort this like that. And then we're getting into where, there's not a straight line here, there's not a straight line here, but the horizon's straight. So in Photoshop, we can actually fix that, make this straight, make this straight. So you can see already that this is already compensated. So this was actually already doing that full compensation to do it. But if I want to make that look a little bit more like the original shot, something like that would probably do it. You have a pretty good perspective. So let's leave that camera like that. And then let's go up to this patio close now, and let's try to simulate this shot. So now, in this case, let's keep it at 24 millimeters, and then we're going to bring this camera up, over. I feel like if we could get, let's go to 16. Let's hide this for a second. Okay. I feel like this, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Okay. I feel like this type of perspective, so again, this is cut off. So in this shot, this whole side is cut off. There was trees here, some buildings, which, we can bring back in. I think it was, oh, they should be here. Rather not here. Atmosphere. Sun buildings? Yeah, they're there. So these are the real buildings. So, there was a building across the street. I have other photos of this. You can kind of see, no, not really from here. Maybe from here. You can see there's a road, some signage, trees, and then another building. So that's what would kind of block all this. And I think what I'll probably end up doing is, putting some trees in on here and maybe replicating the signage to block this off. But I like the idea that we've kind of got this view going down the road. And again, this is probably my favorite perspective. So we think about this here. This is the road being cut off. It's going to go behind here. The path's going to come through. We'll see the path going down here. We'll see the road. So this is not, this for me is pretty close to something that I would be really happy with for composition, because we're going to get a chance to see a little bit of the roof. Maybe like that. That's the only thing that's a little bit bad about this. So I want to have actually, ideally, I'd like to have a bit of that patio. So I can hang these lights, 1, 2, 3 lights here. A bit of this road. That feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. It's not perfect, but oh, that's not what I wanted. But I think that's going to do the trick. The idea of the focal length. I like it. I like it. Okay, so that's it. So we've got this was the original view. this was the wide view, and this is the close-up view. So I think that's good for the cameras, and I think this is going to be the primary composition that I'm going to look for. And this is a photo. I'm really happy with this. Going to add the lights in. Obviously, do a ton with the water, the shoreline. That's our person kind of standing down here. There's a lot to do, but I feel pretty good. So I think, let's say 8 minutes. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm just going to bring in some textures on this and just kind of see how this looks, just with the patio. I'll see how far I get, and then, maybe I should leave that. Maybe I should leave that. Give me something to work on tomorrow. Okay, so I think I will. I'll hold off for now. So basically the goal would be, so let's just say import 3D model done, block out patio done, add some details done. I'm going to move this to 1.4. So import some mega scans, add lights, roof, we're going to add the ceiling material, and I would probably not even bother. I'll probably not even bother with the actual patio set, just because this is going to be the composition. It'll be nice to have this. This is another view, actually, by the way. I don't know, I had this one over here. Yeah, so I have that view, but this is another view of this patio, a little bit shooting further out down the road. But I don't think I need to worry about this. I mean, you can model this at some point if I need it. But I think for this composition, I think this will do the trick, and I feel pretty happy about this. Let me just we'll set ourselves up for doing the texturing tomorrow by just making sure that this is clear what each of these are. So this is going to be the wood texture. So this is going to be patio wood. We'll say this probably be different wood rail for now, and then this here is going to be patio wood floor. We know that this is all going to be metal. So this is patio metal. This is going to be patio metal. I don't know which one. I have two of these, actually. Patio metal. And then, yeah, so you can see this is just popping out, just to get an idea of how well that lined up. This is the actual building data. So this is the real dimensions, everything for this rooftop. And I don't think I actually have good photos of this from the outside, but we could probably just take a peek at it quick. So let's just see if Google Maps actually has this Airbnb lake. And I can also at the same time apologize for saying this wrong. Okay, let's go. You won't be able to see what I'm doing right now, but I'm just grabbing a couple screenshots of the lake again. Actually, I probably have one in here. Okay, I guess I don't. Okay, so Mount Fuji. Wow, okay. Let's see. Okay, so lake was Lake Yamanako. I'm gonna have to get the pronunciation of this lake. Okay, so I'm just gonna drop a Google Maps view. Yeah, we got it. Perfect. Okay, so this is interesting. So they've got the original dimension. I'll show you a screenshot of this. So they might have in that data have like the actual original dimensions of this building. There's something I'm going to have to look at. Um, but whether or not this actually is to scale or not is going to be interesting. So let me just save this, show you what this building looks like. Okay. Desktop. Okay. So here's the actual building from Google Street View. So this is a screenshot. So obviously we've done is the patio, and you can actually see it is one block of wood. So I could redo that. So it just looks like they've put a single block and then another single block on this side. And then you can get to see what this rooftop thing was happening. So basically it's a metal frame, which we've got done, but there's hanging down from the roof is this material. So basically what you have to do is either, it should be pretty straightforward. I mean, literally I can just model this really quickly, basically just make this curve and then even just array it down and, offset it or something just to make it look like a little bit less uniform. And then that material is like a sunshade. And then, above this, I could put these in if I wanted and frame this up. But you can see like the whole building itself, on the bottom is obviously much bigger. The top is smaller, and then this is kind of a weird angle to the building. So if you look at the data and what we actually had for the building itself, this is what we had. So, it hasn't picked up, that this building is actually, this building is actually out this way. I don't know why that's extruding that way. Right. So, it's something like this, and then, something like this. So, whether this actually got this accurately or not, it's hard to know. But for the purposes of what we're doing, I don't think it's going to matter that much. Oh, this is part of that problem again. Right? So, yeah. So, something like this. I'll fix this up after, but you get the idea. So I think this is probably be something, in terms of the building. It'll end up looking something like this. Oh, that's because it's local. That's why. I don't know. I'll figure this out. Why is it? Can I do that with normal? There we go. Okay, so yeah, so something like this. Leave that one. Yeah, so it might end up being something like this. I mean, I'm not trying to model this entire building. I do have a lot of info from the inside, which might be something for the future. But basically, I'm just trying to get this patio set up the way we want it. And then again, if we get rid of this, just focus on patio, we've got this as well, which is set up for both the which is set up for both the metal around the outside and the window. And then I would even say that this here is going to be its own thing, which if you saw from the other photos, we've actually got kind of a metal interesting thing here. So let's just do that quickly, add one more. We'll call this patio It's like an accordion metal. Accordion. And a sign. Okay, so basically this thing's ready for texturing. I think it'll probably be what I need for now. I'll fix up the roof. Basically this will be pretty easy. We'll put the frame around it, and then we'll pop out this face, and then we'll add that stuff from the street view. This stuff right here. Okay, I think that's it for the stream. Thanks for everyone that joined. I appreciate it. And oh hey, hey, how you doing, GMC? Good to see you, man. I'm so bad at this. I appreciate you coming in here and saying hi. I have to figure out how to actually notice these notifications. But these are all being saved, archived, put on YouTube. I'm going to use this to do kind of a behind the scenes when this final piece is done. But just to summarize, if I turn everything back on, buildings, and no, not that. The patio, put our human back in, put our camera back. This is basically where we're at this moment. There we go. That's basically what we've got blocked out at this moment. Still lots of work to do, but I'm going to wrap this one up now, and we'll come back and do this again. Thanks for joining.